President wa ligi ya wase ANC Julius Malema.
The ANC Youth League President
Julius Malema. Youth leader Julius Malema will appear in the Equality Court this morning over comments he made about President Jacob Zuma's rape
Advocacy
accuser.
group Sonke Gender Justice wants an apology.
Malema told students in Cape Town that the woman enjoyed having sex with Zuma. The president was acquitted on a rape charge in 2006. Mandy Wheeler reports.
Do you know anybody build or report sometimes? Yeah, that's the Sowetan. You have the Domestic Violence Act, you have the Termination of Pregnancy Act, you have the Employment Act, you have the Equality Act. I mean, all of these things came as a direct result of the African National Congress, the ANC. Some of the best gender policies, in fact, not in South Africa, in the world. Policies. Not in South Africa only, in the world. Yeah. And if you look at the women representation in South African legislation, in the women's representation, the empowerment of women within the ANC, in the legislatures, in the national government, in the various councils, it's very high, it's very commendable. Yeah. That's why we then don't believe that Malema's statements represents the ANC's thinking or approach towards women's empowerment. Yeah. Matachi, Secretary General of the ANC, was asking us, is there no better way of resolving this thing? And we said no, because the ANC has been silent. The magistrate will take a decision that indeed this constituted a hate speech, or there are no grounds to say that this was hate speech. 6 to 8 weeks. His argument is that all he was saying was taking out a piece of the judgment in the President Zuma's rape trial.
That the woman who had alleged that Jacob Zuma had raped her had in fact enjoyed the night that she spent with Zuma. And our feeling was that in a context of such incredibly high levels of violence against women, South Africa has the highest levels of violence against women in the world, and Malema's statements were made right about the time that a report was released by the Medical Research Council indicating that 1 in 4 men had committed rape, and many of those men had committed multiple acts of rape. So we felt like his statements warranted a strong response.
They take back this country to the dark ages where women were regarded as minors, where women had no voice, where women were just sexual objects.
He provided 2 justifications for his statements. He said, well, he knew she had enjoyed sex because she had not left in the middle of the night, and then in the morning she had asked for taxi fare and stayed for breakfast. So the reasons that he gave are quite preposterous, and I think contribute to a whole series of myths around how rape survivors are supposed to behave. And I think by implication, if rape survivors don't behave in these kind of societally sanctioned ways, don't immediately charge the perpetrator, don't scream, etc., then somehow or another the veracity of their claim is called into question. Every time we have gone to court, we've had national coverage all day on the issue, in the newspapers, on radio, on television, and I think it has done 2 things. One, it has sent a message that political leaders can be held to account, and I think, perhaps equally importantly, it's put into the public domain the sense that there are men who are concerned about men's violence towards women. And I think that's really important, because we know there are lots of men in South Africa who are concerned about violence against women, but very often feel like it's not their place to speak out on the issues. We were concerned, of course, about issues related to freedom of expression and what it meant to be going up against someone for statements they had made publicly, but I think rather like in Germany, where the threshold is quite different for what constitutes anti-Semitic hate speech, I think in a context like South Africa, where women face daily reality of violence or the threat of violence, political leaders of the status and visibility of Julius Malema simply have to be held to account when they say those sorts of things.
Whatever you're saying out of your mouth must be responsible, must be seen to be building this nation, not undermining a particular sector of this nation.
A lot of people would say in any country people should be able to speak their mind and say whatever they want. So if a reporter said to you, but why are you guys going outside the court? Why have you taken Malema to court?
He crossed the line. For as long as women are still under severe attacks of all forms of sexual violence, we cannot rest as men.
Like this young man who's leading the ANC Youth League is saying such derogatory remarks about a very crucial crime that is serious in our country. We cannot just fold arms and let that unchallenged. We want him to say a few words. And they are very simple in English. I, Julius Malema, I am sorry of what I've said.
For us women who knows exactly what the pain of many of the rape survivors endure. It is so sad that we as women are the people who are in the forefront being misled by leaders such as Malema.
There is a very serious placard from Malema supporters that goes as follows. We support Malema 100%, to hell with the beach. This is the language that worries us, comrades. And it's going now further. We are taking a pause in front of these offices. These are the offices of the African National Congress. We are sending that message to our leadership, the ANC, to begin to take the issue of sexual violence very serious. But comrades, we want the African National Congress, as we are passing by these offices, to hold Malema accountable.
Yes.